A hearty lunch that doesn't have meat and is super easy to make. I'm going to start our recipe by adding 2 grated carrots to a bowl. I'm also going to add 150 grams of grated cabbage, 3 small grated potatoes as well. I didn't peel the potatoes, but you can if you prefer. Now I'm going to add 4 whole eggs and I'm going to mix everything very well. Now I'm going to add parsley to taste, chives also to taste, 40 milliliters of whole milk, 40 milliliters of olive oil or sunflower oil, and now 4 tablespoons of wheat flour. I'm going to season with a teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon of oregano, and I'm going to mix very well until everything is combined. This recipe is incredibly delicious and can replace meat in your home. I'm sure you'll be surprised by the result because it's very tasty. So if you like recipes with cabbage, leave a comment below. I love cabbage, so I will bring you more incredible recipes made with cabbage. You know that I love to bring here on our page only recipes that you love. Finally, I will add a tablespoon of baking powder and mix until the yeast is incorporated into our mixture. Now I will transfer everything to a baking sheet greased with a little oil and spread it out. Now just bake it in the oven at 100 or 80 degrees for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, our recipe is practically ready, but to make it even better, I will add grated mozzarella cheese to taste on top. And to give it an even more special touch, I will also add oregano, and I will put it back in the oven to melt the cheese. We are done with our recipe, and look at this incredible recipe we have just prepared. It smells wonderful and my mouth is watering. Now just cut a piece, serve and enjoy. Dear friends, look at this delicious recipe we have prepared for you. Sensational. And the best time has come. It is time to try our recipe. Look how perfect it is. Wow, it's hot, but the flavor is simply amazing. I just burned my mouth, but it was worth it because the flavor of this vegetable pie is indescribable. Make this recipe at home because I'm absolutely sure you won't regret it. Fried hot dogs. This recipe was a hit at my house. Let's start our recipe by putting 7 sausages in a pan with water and cooking them. I'm gonna make it with 7 sausages, but it's up to you. After our sausages are cooked, we're gonna skewer them all with a barbecue skewer. It's really easy. Here I also have slices of mozzarella cheese, and I'm gonna wrap the sausage with a slice of cheese, and then I'm gonna set it aside. I'm gonna make one more for you to see. Just take the cheese, roll the sausage, and set it aside. Now I'm going to put the sausages in the freezer for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, in a bowl I'm going to add 2 cups of wheat flour, 2 whole eggs, 1 cup of whole milk. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of oregano, remembering that the seasonings are to taste. I'm also going to add a teaspoon of salt and half a teaspoon of black pepper. And we're going to mix everything very well until it's homogeneous. Friends, this recipe is very easy to make. It's not for everyday eating, but it's perfect to make once in a while for kids. They'll love it. Not only kids, but your whole family will love this recipe. So watch this complete recipe, and at the end of the video, leave your review of this delicious recipe below. Let's keep mixing. Friends, this is the ideal point for our dough. Now I'll put some dough in a tall glass, the kind you drink beer in. And I'll dip our sausage with mozzarella into the glass with the dough. See how easy it is? Then just lift the sausage very carefully so that it doesn't come off the skewer. Remove the excess dough. And then just put it in a pan with very hot oil and let it fry. We've already fried all the sausages, and look how our fried hot dogs turned out. They were very dry, without excess oil. Now I'm gonna try them. Wow, it was delicious. What a wonderful flavor. Look at the melted cheese inside. You can make this recipe and everyone will love it. If you have potatoes at home, prepare this recipe that is tastier than meat. Let's start our recipe by adding 3 chopped potatoes to a pan. We will completely cover the potatoes with water. This recipe is very easy, friends. You will love it. Now we add a teaspoon of salt, mix and cook until the potatoes are soft. Now we will put our boiled potatoes in a bowl, and with the help of a potato masher, we will mash the potatoes very well until they become puree. Friends, this recipe is very easy to make, and if you like easy recipes with potatoes, I will leave it below. I love potatoes. That way I will know that you like potato recipes, and I will bring you more recipes. Now we will add 100 grams of sausage cut into very small pieces, 100 grams of grated Parmesan cheese. Look how delicious our recipe is already. And now I will add chopped parsley to taste. And now we will mix everything very well. Friends, this recipe will be wonderful and will have an incredible flavor. Now we're going to add 100 grams of cornstarch to give consistency to our recipe. So we're going to mix it really well until the cornstarch is mixed with the other ingredients. I'll show you how it will turn out. Our dough will look like this. Now I'm going to put a little cooking oil on my hands. I'm going to take a portion of our dough and make a ball. You can shape it however you like. Okay, I'm going to shape all of our dough and show you the result. Now in a pan with very hot oil, we're going to put our potato balls so they don't stick together too much. Okay, here. Our dough yielded 20 balls, but it depends on the size of the balls you shape. I've already put all of the balls in the oil and I'm going to let them fry. When they're well fried on one side, we're going to turn them over to fry the other side with 2 forks. The balls are already fried. Now we're going to remove them from the oil and place them on a plate with paper towels to remove the excess oil. Then repeat the process with the other balls. Our recipe is ready. Look how beautiful and delicious they turned out. I'm going to open one so you can see what it's like inside. Look how delicious. Here I have a sauce made with ketchup, mustard, and mayonnaise. I'm going to dip our potato dumplings in this sauce and try it. Wow, how delicious. They turned out wonderful. You can make them at home. A restaurant owner taught me, the secret is in the filling. I'm going to start our recipe today by making a shallow cut in 12 sausages like this. It's very easy to do. It will look like this. Now I'm going to place all the sausages in a baking dish, one next to the other. Now I'm going to stuff our sausages with a slice of mozzarella cheese rolled up like this. I'm going to put mozzarella in all the sausages and then I'm going to set them aside. Now in a bowl, I'm going to put an onion chopped into very small pieces. I'm also going to add half a chopped green pepper, a chopped tomato without seeds, parsley to taste, 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. Look how delicious it's turning out. And I'm also going to add the juice of 1 lemon. Then I'm going to mix everything very well. Friends, This recipe is super easy to make and is perfect for your family lunch or dinner. So if you like easy recipes like this one, leave a comment below. I love easy recipes. This way, I'll know that you like this recipe and I'll be able to keep bringing you more and more recipes. Now all you have to do is put our mixture on top of the sausages we set aside like this. This is the secret filling of our recipe. You'll love the flavor, and we'll put it in the oven at 200 degrees Celsius for an hour. And now our stuffed sausage recipe is ready, and look how delicious it is. It smells incredible. And now the best time has come. It's time to try our recipe. I'm going to cut a piece so you can see how well cooked it is inside and super stuffed. Now I'm going to try it and tell you how it tastes. Yum, how delicious. This recipe is perfect for your next lunch. Make it and tell me. Let's start by adding 2 cups of cooked rice to the blender. Don't waste any more rice in your home. If you have any leftover rice, make this delicious recipe. Now add 50 milliliters of water, 2 whole eggs, and 50 grams of grated mozzarella cheese. Cover the blender and mix well. We've already mixed very well, and now we're going to season with a pinch of black pepper, a teaspoon of salt. Cover and mix again. Remember that this dough can be a little heavy for the blender, so if that happens, just add a little more water and mix little by little using the blender's pulse mode. Okay? That's the goal of our rice dough. Now we're going to transfer everything to a lightly greased frying pan. Now with the help of a spatula, we're going to spread this dough very well in the pan. It's important to spread it so that it's not too thin, but not too thick, okay? And our dough should look like this in the pan. Now just put a little olive oil on top. You can use a kitchen brush to spread it. And then we'll bake it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes. Now we're going to fry a chicken breast cut into cubes. I'll put a little olive oil in the pan to fry the chicken. Season with a teaspoon of salt, a little black pepper, and also a little smoked paprika, remembering that all the seasonings are to taste. Okay? Now we're going to mix and fry the chicken. Now we'll add 2 crushed garlic cloves, about half an onion cut into small pieces, and I'll also add 200 grams of tomato sauce. Friends, I'm sure you've never seen this recipe. It's an old-fashioned rice pizza. It's delicious, and I'm sure everyone will love the result. After mixing everything, cover and let it cook for 3 minutes. Our rice dough is already baked, and look how beautiful it turned out. It's incredible that this dough is made with aged rice. Now let's get our cooked chicken to stuff our pizza. But first I'm going to show you how crispy our pizza turned out. Look how delicious it is. Now just put our chicken on top of our dough, remembering that you can make it with your favorite filling, like tuna, shredded chicken, whatever you like best. I'm going to finish stuffing our pizza, and I'll be right back. Now to give it a special touch, I'm going to put grated mozzarella cheese on top of our pizza. The amount is up to you, but the cheese can't be left out. I put oregano on top of the cheese, and now I'm going to put it back in the oven until the cheese melts. Our stale rice pizza is ready, and look how beautiful and delicious it turned out. I'm going to cut and serve our pizza, friends, and you'll see what a wonderful recipe we just made. The dough is super crunchy, and the filling is very delicious. If you make this recipe, no one will guess that it's made with stale rice. After this recipe, my friends, you'll never waste rice at home again. You'll always want to make it with different flavors. And look how delicious it is. Let's try it. The best time of all has come. It's time to try our recipe. Wow, it was delicious. Wonderful. Make this recipe at home and everyone will love it. Coconut cloud, the lightest dessert I've ever made in my life. It melts in your mouth. I'm going to start our recipe by putting 395 grams of condensed milk in a pan. I'm also going to add a cup of milk, remembering that the heat is still off. Now I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cornstarch. And now I'm going to add 200 grams of cream. The result of this recipe is surprising. Stay until the end because I'm sure you'll love it. Now I'm going to add a tablespoon of vanilla essence. I'm going to mix everything very well with the heat still off until all the ingredients dissolve. Now I'm going to turn my stove on low heat and keep stirring until it thickens. I'll show you the ideal point. This is the ideal point for our recipe. I'm going to turn off the heat. Don't let it thicken too much. Now I'm going to set it aside. Now for the next part of our recipe, I'm going to put grated coconut in the bottom of a baking pan, like this. Spread the grated coconut evenly throughout the pan. After placing the grated coconut in the pan, remembering that I used approximately 50 grams of grated coconut, now I'm going to pour all of our cream over the grated coconut. Look how delicious our recipe is turning out. There's no way you can't like this recipe. Even those who don't like coconut will love this light and delicious dessert. Now with the help of a spoon, we're going to spread all of our cream over the grated coconut. It's important that the cream is still a little warm to make this process easier, and this is how our dessert will look. This is the hardest part of the recipe, but it's worth it. Now we're going to put it in the fridge for 20 minutes. While our dessert is in the fridge, I'm going to put 120 grams of very cold whipped cream mix in a bowl and beat it well with the help of a mixer. This is the point at which our whipped cream is ready. You'll see that it's very firm. Now let's move on to the next part. I've already taken our dessert out of the fridge. It's firmer. Now all you have to do is take the whipped cream we just made, pour it over our dessert, and spread it out well with a spatula. I'm going to spread the whipped cream well, and I'll show you the final result of this perfection. I've already spread all the whipped cream over our recipe. Now let's move on to the next step, which is really quick, and I'll show you how to serve this incredible dessert. We're going to put it in the fridge for just another 15 minutes. The 15 minutes have already passed and our coconut cloud is ready to be served. To do this, just use a spatula like this one and cut it like this. I'm going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to cut the other side in half too. It's really easy. My mouth is already watering, wanting to try this dessert. Now I'm going to run a knife around the entire dessert so it doesn't stick to the pan. Now it's really simple. Just place the spatula underneath our dessert and roll it up like this. If you need to, you can help with your fingertip. Look how delicious it is. I'm going to make it again so you can see that it's really easy. Anyone can make this dessert. It may seem difficult, but it's not. Now let's serve it. The best time has come. It's time to try our recipe. Look at this perfect, beautiful, and delicious recipe. Yum, how delicious. There's no way to explain the flavor. Make it and try it. I made a carrot cake without using wheat flour. Let's start our recipe by putting a chopped carrot in the blender. I'll also add half a cup of oil and also half a cup of sugar. Let's make a cake without wheat flour, friends. You'll love it. Cover the blender and mix well. We've already mixed everything very well, and now we're going to add 3 whole eggs. Half a cup of water, and we're going to mix for another 2 minutes. Our next ingredient now is cornmeal. Let's make our carrot cake with cornmeal. You can make it at home. I'm sure everyone will love it. I also added a pinch of salt to enhance the flavor and mixed a little more. We finished our dough. Now we're going to add a spoonful of yeast and mix lightly with the spatula. Remember friends, if you like this recipe, leave a rating from 0 to 10 and tell me if you like carrot cake. Just say so. I love carrot cake. Now all we need to do is put all our dough in a pan greased with butter and sprinkled with cornmeal. And look how beautiful the dough is. Very orange, a wonderful color. Now just put it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 40 minutes. Our flour-free carrot cake is ready, and look how beautiful it is. Very orange and it smells wonderful. I'm going to unmold it and show you how it turned out. Wow, what a beautiful cake. I'm going to turn our cake over to make it look prettier, and to give it a special touch, I'm going to put some frosting on top. Because carrot cake has to have chocolate frosting, if you agree. I made this ganache with 200 grams of melted chocolate and 200 grams of cream. I'm going to cut a piece of our cake to try and tell you how it turned out. You can feel that it's very soft. Look how delicious. The best time has come. It's time to try our carrot cake and see how beautiful it turned out. It's even crumbling. This cake is so fluffy. Now I'm going to try it. Wow, it was wonderful. Make this recipe because it's perfect. Look how soft it is and the flavor is incredible. Make it at home and tell me about it. Make a lot of cheese with just 1 carton of milk. Easy and delicious. I'll start by putting 500 milliliters of milk in a large pan. I'll also add 200 grams of cornstarch. Now I'm going to mix it very well until the cornstarch dissolves completely, remembering that the heat is still off. Friends, cheese is very expensive, so this recipe will save you a lot because you can make a lot of cheese with little milk. I'm sure you'll love the end result. I've already mixed everything very well. The cornstarch has dissolved completely, so now I can add the rest of the milk, make mozzarella cheese at home this way, and everyone will be amazed at the result. Now I'm going to turn on my stove to medium heat, and I'm going to keep stirring this mixture until it heats up a little. Our milk is already heated up, so now I'm going to add 150 grams of butter, but margarine can also be used. And I'm going to keep stirring until the butter melts completely. It's very easy. Friends, our butter has completely melted. Look how it turned out. Now I'm going to add 250 grams of grated mozzarella cheese. Look how interesting. With just 250 grams of mozzarella cheese, you'll make 1,500 grams of mozzarella cheese. It makes a lot, and this recipe is really worth it. Friends, now this part of the recipe is very important. We can't stop stirring. We're going to keep it on medium heat and keep stirring non-stop. And in a little while, I'll show you the ideal point. This is the ideal point for our recipe. It's very consistent and it's coming away from the pan. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of salt and mix well until the salt is incorporated into our recipe. Remember that the heat is still on, and I'm going to keep stirring a little longer. The smell of this recipe is delicious. I really want to try it because my mouth is watering. And this is the final point of our recipe. See how it's coming away from the bottom of the pan? There's no way to go wrong with this recipe. The point is very visible. And now look how interesting it is. The milk carton will serve as our mold to shape our recipe. Simply place the entire mixture we prepared inside the milk carton like this. Be careful because our mixture is still hot. I'm going to put everything inside and I'll show you how. I've already filled the entire milk carton with our mixture, that is our cheese, and covered it with plastic wrap like this. And you can see that there's still a little bit in the pan that I'm going to put in another pot. Now just put it in the fridge for 6 hours and I'll show you the final result. 6 hours have already passed and I'm going to show you that our recipe really yielded a lot. I'm weighing it here so you can see how incredible this recipe is and how it yields a lot. You can save a lot by making this recipe at home. Now to deflate it, it's very simple. With the help of scissors, just cut a part of the milk carton and tear it with your own hands like this. See how easy it is and look at the final result of our cheese. It looks great and the consistency is perfect. I'm going to cut some pieces so you can see what the consistency is like. Look how delicious it is, and now just enjoy it however you like. I'm going to add a boneless chicken breast to the boiling water and let it cook. While our chicken is cooking, I'm going to add 2 eggs here in a bowl. I'll also add half a cup of milk and I will mix very well until the egg film is broken. Now I'm going to add half a cup of wheat flour, black pepper to taste, a teaspoon of oregano, a teaspoon of salt, and I'll mix again. Friends, we are making a very easy and practical chicken recipe. So if you like recipes with chicken, leave them here below. I love chicken. This way, I'll know that you like it, and I'll be able to bring you more different and delicious chicken recipes, which I'm sure everyone will love. Finally, I will add a teaspoon of baking powder, mix and set aside. Here we have already cooked our chicken breast, so we will remove it from the water, place it on a cutting board and cut it in half like this. And now we're going to chop our chicken into smaller pieces. Now we're going to transfer all of our chicken to the mixture we just prepared, and we're going to add a cup of grated mozzarella cheese. Look how delicious, and let's mix again. Now just transfer all this mixture to a refractory that can go in the oven. My refractory is small, as this recipe is for a small family, but you can double the ingredients to make a larger recipe. Now just spread it. Now let's finish our recipe by adding some zucchini slices. I'm adding 4 zucchini slices, and now I'm going to add some strips of red pepper around the zucchini slices. You can use another color of pepper if you prefer. Is that okay? Look how beautiful our recipe is turning out. I'm going to add a pinch of oregano now on top of all of this. I will also add some grated mozzarella cheese. The amount is to taste. And another pinch of oregano on top of our mozzarella. Now just put it in the oven at 180 degrees Celsius for 25 minutes. Our chicken pie is ready and I'm going to cut a piece to serve and try it. Look how golden and beautiful our pie is. The best thing is that it was very easy to do. Let's see now what it looks like inside. Look how delicious. The best time has come. It's time to try our chicken pie. See how well it was baked inside. This size pie is perfect for a small family. Now I'm going to try it. My God, how delicious. This chicken pie was very tasty. The zucchini gave it a special touch. You can do it at your home and everyone will love it. I put ground meat on top of the potatoes and the result was incredible. Let's start our recipe by cutting 5 peeled potatoes. First, I'm going to cut them in half and then I'm going to cut them into slices approximately half a finger thick like this. I'll cut the 5 potatoes and be right back. Now let's add our cut potatoes to an already hot pan with a little oil like this. Potatoes with a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of oregano. I will also add a teaspoon of salt, remembering that all seasonings are to taste, and I'm going to mix everything very well until the seasoning combines with the potatoes. Now let's cover the pan and let it cook for 5 minutes. We have already cooked our potatoes until they are al dente, and now we are going to transfer everything to a refractory. See that the potatoes are cooked but are not falling apart. Now in another pan, I will add some olive oil. I will add 3 crushed garlic cloves and also a chopped onion. So let's saute these 2 ingredients well. Now I'm going to add 600 grams of ground meat. It can be any meat of your choice. So we're going to saute this meat together with the onion and garlic. Now I'm going to add a teaspoon of smoked paprika, a teaspoon of salt, and also a little black pepper. And we will mix very well. Now I'm going to add 300 grams of tomato sauce and mix again. In the meantime, if you like potato and meat recipes like this, leave them below. I love meat and potatoes. This way I can bring you more recipes like this, which is super practical and a complete meal that will please your whole family. We finish our ground meat with sauce, and now we are going to add this meat on top of the potatoes that we reserved. Look how delicious this recipe is turning out. Now, let's spread all that meat over the potatoes. And now let's finish by adding approximately 200 grams of grated mozzarella cheese on top of our entire recipe. Then just put it in the oven until the mozzarella melts. Our minced meat and potatoes are ready. Look how beautiful this recipe is. And now I'm cutting a piece here because our cheese was browned, so it will make it easier to serve this portion. Now let's see what it looks like inside. My God, how delicious. The best time has come. It's time to try our recipe. Look at this wonderful melted cheese. It's still hot, but I'm going to try it now because my mouth is watering. My God, how delicious. It is perfect. It's the best lunch or dinner you can prepare for your family.